Before we move on to the video at hand, I just want to clarify that I'm not making this video to complain about Chapter 2 Remix. In my opinion, this updating season is very fun and well produced. With this out of the way, let's move on to the video. Chapter 2 Remix came out this morning and it was a blast. Even though the live event concert thingy was not that well produced, Chapter 2 Remix was. But there was some controversies on the execution of it. This consists of Snoop Dogg, Ice Spice, NNM, lag issues, hardware issues, reload being disabled, and creative being disabled. Nintendo Switch was also disabled and the loophole plus over a map. We will be beginning with the hardware issues. Fortnite isn't always a game that takes a lot to run, but recently the issue of how much space updates are taking is being raised as a concern. This update alone took over 50 gigabytes of space and a lot of people on Reddit are mad. But this is one of the smaller issues at hand because games like GTA 5, Ark Survival Evolved takes way more space. Granted, they do not receive as much updates as Fortnite, so maybe in the future, Fortnite might overtake both of them on how large the game is, which is kind of concerning. But on top of that hardware issue, a lot of people are experiencing FPS drops and stuttering while loading in. I personally experienced this because I am receiving a lot less FPS than what I received last season. Also, even when my FPS goes up, it constantly falls down and sometimes hits 0. And when I first launched into the Chapter 2 map, I was really excited. But that excitement was met with me moving around in stutters, the game having terrible graphics while it took in the new spawn island. My PC isn't garbage. I have a Intel i7 and RTX 30 series, and if I am experiencing this, I am really concerned for people with potato PCs. Before I continue, I just want to ask you guys to please like and subscribe. These videos takes a lot of time for me to make, and any show of support will mean a lot to me. Anyways, thank you guys so much. Let's go back to the video at hand. Moving forward, UEFN was offline for a few hours. What's UEFN? UEFN is Fortnite's Unreal Engine tool for Fortnite map makers. This means that map makers are not able to update or make new maps during these crucial hours. This was before Fortnite's downtime ended, so Chapter 2 Remix's issues were occurring even before it was born, and right after downtime ended, the original issue was fixed. Another issue arises with the Fortnite map makers unable to update or make changes again. Now players are not able to join UEFN experiences for a while. This means that some Fortnite creative maps were offline. This isn't some hopes because I faced this issue too. I was trying to launch into a Fortnite XP map and I was faced with the issue of joining. I was stuck in a loading menu for over 5 minutes and this was occurring for who knows how long. This was also a problem with the creative portal. This means that some feature maps were blocked and unable to be played. Moving forward, now we have the issues with players' lockers. Players are experiencing difficulties updating their locker consistently. So imagine you buy the long awaited battle pass and you cannot wear the skin as soon as you buy it. On top of that, there was a specific issue with the Snoop Dogg outfit, and that's whenever you try to equip the Snoop Dogg set, it does not stay equipped in the locker or in-game. Hours after all of this occurred, Fortnite's creative issue was still not fixed. Some people can still not join their popular creative maps like the Pit or Toy Box, and even indie maps like Creative XP maps cannot be joined, so players cannot play their favorite Battle Pass skins as soon as possible. And to rub salt on the wound, creative and rocket racing on Nintendo Switch was disabled altogether, so everyone on Switch cannot play the rocket racing game mode and the creative experiences. Not like they could to a full extent previously, but it is still really bad. Before we continue with the more in-game issues, let's talk about the community's problem with Fortnite's core. This season was supposed to be the exact replica about Fortnite Chapter 2, or at least that is what the community thought. So Epic's defense, this season was not called Chapter 2 OG like the previous throwback season. This season was called Fortnite Chapter 2 Remix. This is obviously, now in hindsight, a play on words for albums. Albums and songs being rap, and the stars of it are Ice Spice, Snoop Dogg, and NNM. And that is not stopping the community to feel misled that the main POIs like the agency is being changed. They won't be able to fight Midas and get the original drone gun. And in a week, the grotto will be changed into Shark Island 2 in week 3. The bigger problem is that Ice Spice, Snoop Dogg were being critiqued on if they should be a big part of the game. This is because Snoop Dogg was involved in a gang during his past. He was part of the Rolling 20 Scripts, which was a very notorious gang, and Ice Spice being a rapper that encouraged behaviors that parents and adults find unappealing. These two combined, being the main characters of this season, are giving parents a bad taste in their mouth. They do not want their kids to look up to a former gang member, and well, Ice Spice. But if your kid is playing a game about characters murdering each other for a simple win, I think that is the least of your concerns. I'm not saying they should be worried at all because games like Fortnite do not affect kids' mental health by a large extent. I mean, if your kid decides to show up at school, games are not at fault. It's either a combination of your parenting skills and mental illness or just plain flat mental illness. Fortnite Reload, one of the fan favorite game modes that players like you and I enjoy very much. It's one of the most anticipated updates there is. A new desert map that came out and a new mode, the solo mode. For a few months that Reload was out, there was only duos and squads. That means that if you do not have anyone to play with, you're either stuck playing as a solo and getting 2v1 or playing a random duo that will probably help the other team more than they are helping you. But that was supposedly fixed with the solo game mode, and no one could tell if the game mode itself is good or not. And if the map is well made, because Reload, the entire playlist was disabled. No, the map was not disabled. No, the solo game mode was not disabled. The entire playlist was disabled. It took a few hours for it to come online, but when it did, it wasn't even that bad. I know this is supposed to be a negative-ish video, but I have to give props to Epic. The loot pool for the desert map is not bad, and the map/solo game mode itself is fun. But this is where the compliments end. You guys know the ranked game mode? The game mode that impacts basically all the core game modes in Fortnite. Well, if there's a bug or the progression involved in it, the results of your ranked games are being delayed by several hours, meaning that after you play a game, you got to wait a few hours to know if you lost percentage or gain percentage. You won't even know if you ranked up or not. Luckily, the progress was still being tracked, but we will never know if the progress was 100% accurate or if we are getting a rough estimate that is either giving other people way too much percentage or cheaping out on us. But this is an issue patch 4 hours later, which isn't bad. Right after this patch, Fortnite shortly re-enabled creative accuracy on Nintendo Switch, which is sick. But the reload issue is still not over. They decided to disable reload again because players were being loaded into a blank white map. This is crazy. Such a beloved game mode being tarnished by all these glitches. But keep in mind, the game had over 2.5 million players on in normal Battle Royale alone at update morning, which is understandable, but some issues will still arrive. But so many? That has to be a record in a stretch. The reload loophole might be fine and balanced, but the Battle Royale loophole wasn't for a short while. The community was in uproar after they could not find any big pots for shield. I bet it had to increase how often they spawned because there wasn't any being found. Also, did y'all really think that reload didn't have any more issues? There was a visual error that reload was stuck on 98% during the loading menu. But according to Epic, that is just a visual error, nothing is wrong. But it did not feel that way when I tried to launch in. It felt a bit slower to boot in, and I'm not sure if that is a placebo effect or not.